They saw not a single body throughout, but the ground was covered with broken car shells. An antique car stopped moments ago as the road was blocked by hundreds of cars. The twisted car doors and shattered windshields weren't man-made. As the two searched for another route, the sound of engines roared from a distance. Soon, dozens of trucks filled with soldiers rolled by. The lead officer spotted Juan and his buddy and warned them that the entire city was under military lockdown, so they better turn around. Otherwise, they'd be fired upon. Watching the army depart, Juan decided to tail the convoy through the obstacles, but his daring move quickly caught the soldiers. They indeed began shooting wildly, gunfire shattering the silence. Connor had to start backing up because the snow was too slippery. But the car malfunctioned, and suddenly there was commotion from the other side of the bridge. A horde of aliens surged in like a tide, leaving soldiers in despair, snatched one by giant bugs, with screams filling the sky. These aliens resembled beetles, each roughly the size of a small car. Human bullets just bounced off them, their tough shells like bulletproof glass. Meanwhile, Juan, hiding in the distance, witnessed it all. Who would have thought this was an alien invasion? Once the bugs left, Juan and Tunnel cautiously stepped. They picked up the soldiers' drop guns and followed the trail of battle. In the town square, they stumbled upon numerous nests. Just as they pondered their next move, a deafening gunshot erupted, sending them scrambling into a corner. They watched in horror as a giant bug bagged a body, and even more shocking, it opened a hole between two nests and pulled its prey on the ground. This scenario prompted them to hastily attempt to flee, but one slipped and collided with the wall during his escape. The commotion alerted the surrounding bugs. In the nick of time, Juan shot the giant bug in the head, miraculously killing it. However, before they could even catch their breath, the ground started to shake. Juan and Tono fled in a panic, strange noises coming from behind. The bugs were munching on each other's corpses, proving they were too crazy to care about anything. Eventually, they reached a place resembling a church, but the iron door was tightly shut, unresponsive to their banging. Just when the bug swarm was about to pounce, suddenly a burst of flames exploded next to them. They looked up to find someone upstairs launching firebombs. Seizing the chance, Juan and Tono rushed into the church, climbed the stairs to a secret room, and found more than a dozen survivors gathered there. After catching their breath, someone told them that these monsters came from the sky, and if they didn't believe it, they could just check the windows on the top floor. Then Juan went to the window and was met with a suffocating sight. In the pitch-black sky, shooting stars of red light pierced through the clouds. Each beam signified another wave of bug arrivals. Juan realized just how slim the chances were of finding his daughter alive. Hours later, Juan learned that the people here were planning to leave because food was running low. At midnight, during a brief lull when the bugs returned to their nests, a dozen people quietly left the church. The streets soaked in eerie tension, and red shooting stars fell from the sky as they treaded carefully. They hugged the walls to a bridge, crawled through an abandoned bus, then entered a hidden tunnel. But as everyone was cautious, the bugs stirred suddenly. One unfortunately got trapped inside the bus while helping a mother and daughter, peering through the shattered window to assess the situation outside. Outside, a few giant bugs were milling about when one of them suddenly stopped, appearing to have spotted its prey inside the bus. Just at that critical moment, suddenly a loud bell tolled in the church. It turned out that two old folks who hadn't left were ringing the bell with their last ounce of strength, and the bugs turned and fled. Juan held his breath, waiting for the bugs to pass. While everyone crossed the overpass, the bugs in the church began building a staircase. Clearly, these bugs had a high IQ. Two old folks sat in a room on the top floor, seemingly unfazed by the approaching swarm. As the danger drew nearer, the old man tossed a cigarette onto the floor, and the survivors finally escaped the tunnel, narrowly evading the bugs' chase. Meanwhile, someone pointed to the sky. The distant church turned into a burning torch. All silently stared at the light, knowing the old man bought them time. Then Juan followed Tono back home, and to his shock, he found his wife holding their daughter as he climbed the stairs. He could hardly believe how his wife had found their daughter. Elena told him she hadn't gone out, their daughter had come with other survivors. She then revealed the truth about the alien bug invasion to everyone, and all eyes nervously turned to the other survivors, concerned about her identity. Juan's buddy, Baldy, hadn't left. He wanted to stay at Tono's garage to wait for news, but communication devices were still down. However, many cars could start, and a few survivors wandered the streets. The highway looked like a frozen dragon at this moment. Vehicles stretched into the horizon, and there wasn't a single living soul on the entire road. Nobody knew where all the people had gone. Hours later, a brightly lit supermarket suddenly appeared by the roadside, completely contrasting with the city's eerie silence. People hustled and bustled here, and Juan decided to stick around and get the lay of the land. Hearing this was the biggest gathering spot nearby. The warehouse had enough food reserves to sustain hundreds, and after enjoying a long overdue meal, Juan wasn't thinking about heading to a shelter anymore. Early the next morning, noise erupted in waves. Curious, Juan followed the crowd to the entrance, witnessing the long-standing blizzard finally beginning to ease. The long-lost sunlight broke through the clouds and shone on the snow-covered ground, and this sudden turn of events got everyone excited like they had seen the dawn of hope. But just as everyone was cheering with joy, Tono suddenly noticed something was wrong. The compass had completely flipped. This meant strange things were going to happen again. Next, a car screeched to a halt in front of the supermarket, and 3 masked gunmen jumped out, charging toward the crowd without a word. In chaos, everyone scattered to escape, which sparked Juan's anger. In a fit of impulsiveness, he decided to retaliate with Tono, and within moments, to attack. The last one bolted out in a panic. Juan lifted one mask and was stunned to find it was a middle-aged woman wearing a necklace with a string of children's pendants. The scene before the storm came flooding back to him. Juan remembered encountering such a woman in a mall, who wore a similar pendant. This discovery felt unsettling. Was there a hidden conspiracy behind this? Just then, 3 military trucks approached, filled with soldiers and some survivors. Unexpectedly, among them was Juan's old buddy Baldy. He said he had a few drinks last night and woke up on the highway for some unknown reason. Luckily, a patrol team spotted him and brought him here. After talking, they discovered they were the very squad Juan had intended to join.